Hello. Testing. Sounds good to me. Now that Bird has sat down, I think we're ready. How's that? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Ron Hunt, and I'm a longtime friend of this family. And so I'm going to be walking us through this celebration of life service today. I want to begin by thanking each of you for taking a portion of your weekend and spending it here. It speaks volumes about your relationship with David and or other members of the family, and it means a lot to many. So thank you for doing that. I think it's important for us to remember that we are here to remember, we are here to celebrate, we're here to honor, and we're also here to comfort each other. And so I think together we can make all of that happen. I think it's also important for us to remember that grief has a way of making us feel alone. And when I sit down and work with people who are thrust into the world of grief, they almost always share with me, I feel alone. I don't feel like anybody else feels like I feel right now. And you may be having those feelings today. If so, that's very normal, but also it's important to remember it's gatherings like this that help us remember that we're not actually alone. While our individual feelings might vary a little bit from person to person, in general, we are all humans, and as humans, we walk through grief in similar ways. So I want to encourage us. Probably no one here knows everyone else here. There are lots of strangers in this audience. But for this time frame, we are a collection of people who are together. And the more that we reach out and the more that we make others feel a part of this gathering today, the more comfort we will all get from it. That makes sense to everybody? So, having said that, we're going to start the service with a summary of David's life. And his sister, Linda Walton, is going to be giving that. And so it's coming, if we could say, right from the horse's mouth. It's the sister of David, and she knows his life as well or better than anyone else. I want to also share with you that a little later in our service, we're going to open the mic to anyone who wants to come and share. And so if you have a story or something that triggers in you, it's in the sharing of our stories that we not only honor and dignify David, but it's often in the sharing of our stories that we actually begin to comfort each other and find comfort together. So, to get us started, Linda, would you come? And you can use this mic right here.
Good afternoon. Am I?
You're on.
I'm on. Thank you. Whether you called him Roadie Dave or Dave, we knew him as David. Growing up, he was David. And to give you a little history on the family, my grandfather on my dad's side was also David Libchitz. And he left Russia, Kiev. I always heard it as Kiev. Left in 1907, 1908, at the time of the Russian-Japanese War, immigrated to the United States. Initially, the United States said no, so they went and immigrated through Canada and got into the United States through Winnipeg. My grandfather was a carpenter, so he helped build for the World's Fair in San Francisco. Lived in San Francisco for a few years, and in 1919 moved to Petaluma. And my dad's cousin Sid is in the audience, so if I get any of the dates wrong or any of the information wrong, he's welcome to follow me and make corrections. But the spelling and the pronunciation of the name has always been Libchitz. But Uncle Sam when he went through and immigrated, it was Libchitz. And then my brother and my dad's two brothers changed it, one to Libchitz with a P and the other to Libby. So we were the only family that didn't change too much from when it was immigrated. My mom's side, she was a Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. She loved to say Eric Wright of the 49ers was a distant cousin, but she always smiled after that. My grandmother, her maiden name was O'Connor, and the family changed it to Connor. Now, if I remember right, either my mom's mom or the mom's family went across on the Oregon Trail and settled in Salem. How they got to Santa Rosa, I don't remember, but they lived in Santa Rosa, but my mom and my dad were both born in Sonoma County. My mom in Sebastopol and my dad in Petaluma. So they both had graduated from high school and such. And then when they got married, then I came along a year later, and 3 years after that was David, and 2-something years after that was Bert, though early on it was Roberta. So so I know Dave from the early years. When I was going to college and he was in high school and he was helping my dad with his projects and doing well in school. I know him from those days, but but the book is opening up for me the opportunities to share. I've heard many stories about how giving he was, how friendly he was, how he brightened everybody's day, and those stories and thoughts that you've given me have just been a blessing. I cannot thank you enough for sharing how well you liked him and appreciated him, and I am so grateful that you've joined us today and can share in the you're giving to me a gift by being here and by sharing stories. And oh, by the way, if English is not your best subject, I'm sure we can figure out a way that we can get somebody to interpret if need be. So I open the mic. If I've missed something, since I didn't bring any notes, please don't hesitate to holler. Thank you.
So I know it takes a lot of courage to walk up here and talk, but I also know it means a lot. And I'm pretty sure that several of you have things that you want to share. So who would like to go first? Fernando? This is Fernando Casilla, David's boss at the place that makes the best cheesecakes in the world. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Hello, everybody. I'm a very shy person, so this is very hard for me, but I think David deserves this and more. Let me start by saying how we met. It was about 12 years ago. He worked at Avis next to the bakery, and we talked. I rented cars to go to LA and do some deliveries and stuff like that. And eventually Avis closed, and I don't know, I don't remember how we got to talking, and the thing is, they ended up working for me, and that's about 12 years ago. Ever since then, he's always been a great delivery driver, a great person. Everybody, and all the customers of our restaurants and markets love the cheesecake. And he always used to come back after deliveries and go, "Oh my God, I just made a lot of people happy," because he used to just love his job. He was very loyal, very devoted person, and just chatty. He just talked to everybody and started conversation very natural and just really likable person. There was a few times where we went outside work. He knew a lot about cars. We went to Sears Race Point, and we had a great time. He didn't like coffee. He had one beer, that's it. He loved a great hamburger. He used to Mike's at the corner, I think it was called.
Mike's at the Crossroads.
That's it.
Yep.
He loved that hamburger. We went to eat there a few times too. One of the things I kind of regret looking back is that I wish I would have done more outside work with him. Sometimes you don't think that things happen, and you don't know things are gonna turn out. So I'm telling everybody, if you ever want to do something with somebody else, do it, because you don't know if you ever have another chance.
Yeah.
Other stuff that I remember, he knew Susan Hoff from the Bengals. I remember I think he was a driver for a couple of their concerts. And I remember one time he went to LA and delivered, and he stayed a couple days over just to see them play. And he took cookies and took cheesecakes to them. And they loved it. I mean, he was a very likable guy. He also worked at Sausalito Art Festival. He used to check IDs, for people to drink and all that stuff. And he knew a lot of people. You remember he was, he told me a lot of persons that he met. One of them was Robin Williams. They got really close, and Robin Williams just said like this, and they wanted to shake his hands, but Robert went like this. So it's one of those things, but he was very happy that he got to see him, in person. He worked at Sausalito Art Festival for about 6 years. I don't know. There's a lot of things that right now I can't seem to say, but he was a great employee, a great friend, and we're gonna miss him a lot.
Thank you, Fernando. Somebody else? Go ahead, come right on up.
Hi, my name's Rich Hone. Dave lived with us the last 2 years of his life. And what was Dave like? He was a private guy. He was like this duality of people. He was private, but then if you struck up a conversation, all of a sudden you find yourself in the middle of a story, But then he'd still kind of rumble around. He was quirky. He used to drive me nuts at times. If you want to find people's quirks, live with them, right? Because he was our roommate, and we'd be sitting over watching TV. And by the way, he used to shop at Grocery Outlet. And he would make this concoction of I don't know what. But it was the most foul smelling. Like I wanted to go, honey, maybe we should go out. You know, because I look at the ingredients and I'd say there's pasta and there's meat and there's sauce, but I can't justify the smell of what he's made. And maybe, I don't know, maybe he did this as a young man too, but he and I would talk a lot because we were close enough in age that we could share what it was like to grow up in the 80s, right? Which had its own unique experience. And then he would talk about being a roadie, but he had, he was a lifelong Petaluma native, and I didn't know that, but over time, he would talk about the different areas and the changes that happened in Petaluma. But we've got a 4-year-old son, and he loved Dave. Dave knew how to talk to him, and he made him feel loved. And Ian still talks about him. So he left a lifelong impact on my son, because he'll remember him for a long time. We were really shocked. We were upset during the period where we didn't know what was going on. We couldn't find out. It was when I spoke to Fernando. That's when we found out. But I don't know. Dave was unique and, infinitely likable, but you could tell he would be somebody that if you got on the wrong side of him, it wouldn't be a good time. I never got on the wrong side of him. But he was a good roommate. He was a good friend. And always pleasant, always let you know what was going on. And it's hard enough in this world to just find good people, but he was a nice guy, and he's missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, come on up.
Hi, I'm Jeanette. I met Dave at the post office where I was a window clerk. We were always very friendly with each other because he was a friendly guy and always smiled and always happy, always brightened up the room when he came in. And I remember one thing I remember the most is I'd say, "Hey, Dave, how you doing today?" And he'd go, "Better now that I see you." I love that. In fact, I started using it. After a while, seeing him almost every day and talking to him every day, when we had a little, time between customers, we became friends. And then he asked me if I wanted to work at the Sausalito Art Festival, and he was telling me all these stories about how he would pick up these big stars and like at that time, he had to go pick up Jefferson's Starship when we were there. So, really big names. And he would work with those people and stuff. And he had given Klaus and I these workers' passes that got us backstage and everything. So Klaus and I were sitting there backstage with Jefferson's Starship. And it was so much fun. It was so great. And, throughout the day we would go by, "Hey, Dave, how you doing?" And we did that 2 years in a row with Dave. And then he stopped working there. Something happened, and they didn't have him there anymore. But I remember Dave talking about delivering the cakes for J.M. Rosen and how much he loved it. And one time I was trying to help him find a good deal with the hotel down there. And I looked on the internet and everything, and I found him a place. But he was a really good guy. He told me what he would do, like I used to come down D Street sometimes to go to work, and he would come walking, because he always walked. He liked to walk. And I'd ask him, you want to ride, Dave? No, I want to walk. So he would come and he would push the button, even if he wasn't crossing the street between, D Street and Lakeville Highway. For the people on the D Street side, on the other side where, Mario and John's side, anyways, just so that the light would last longer for the people driving the cars, because it would only let a couple people through. And I was on that street when that would happen, and when he would push that button, for people, I thought, what a thoughtful thing. But that was Dave. He was thoughtful, he was sweet, he was kind. I never heard any negativity out of him ever. And then I found out that another friend through the post office, Bert, found out they were sister and brother, and I never knew that, But, she's a great person as well, and I'm so sorry to the family of losing such a wonderful person. But God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi.
I don't know speak English.
It's all right. You can speak Spanish. It's okay. Yeah.
Ay, ya voy a llorar. No. Pues yo conocí a David hace 5 años. Siempre fue muy amable.
She knew Dave for 5 years.
Él, cuando vio que no hablaba inglés, él me empezó a decir que yo podía hablar inglés y él me empezó a enseñar. Muy paciente, me decía una palabra y me decía que la repitiera. Y sí, él me ayudó mucho con el inglés.
So every time she said that she didn't understand or how to speak English, Dave would try to teach her a word and try to repeat it and just try to say it and just helped her with English, with a lot of the words.
Sí. Él llegaba en las mañanas y nos veía trabajar y decía, ¿saben a cuánta gente van a ser feliz con lo que están haciendo?
And we would come in and tell her, you know how many people you guys are making happy with what you're doing?
O sea, cada pastel de 16, se corta en 16, ese pastel va a ser feliz a 16 personas.
And the cakes were cut into 16 slices, and that cake would be 16 happy people.
Ajá. Y él siempre muy amable, se desesperaba cuando no estaba a tiempo su
He also got a little
trabajo.
impatient when the cakes were not ready for him to take off. That was Dave. I mean, like,
Pero al menos nunca fue grosero con nosotros.
he was never negative or nasty towards nobody there.
El año pasado me fui 4 meses a México, y cuando regresé en diciembre, que tuvimos la reunión de fin de año, me vio y fue algo muy bonito para mí. Fue a recibirme y me abrazó con mucho cariño.
She left for 4 months to Mexico and came back right at the point where we had a kind of Christmas gathering. And when he saw her, he gave her the tightest hug and was very happy to see her.
Pocas veces lo veíamos tan expresivo y me sorprendió mucho, pero me dijo que le daba mucho gusto volver a verme y que estaba feliz por mi regreso.
They never got to see, Dave was never that expressive, that much. Always talked, but never that expressive of love. And she got surprised that how he acted towards her when he saw her back.
Y nada, lo voy a extrañar mucho, lo extrañamos ahorita mucho en la pastelería. Y pues donde esté, te mando un abrazo, David.
And they're going to miss him a lot at the bakery, and wherever you are, Dave, send him a hug and a kiss.
Thank you. Okay, come on up. Yeah.
I'm Larry Modell. Dave was active in many local issues, and the one that I worked with him most on was the effort going back 25 years, 30 years, to open up the piece of property on Sonoma Mountain owned by Petaluma called Lafferty Ranch, to keep it from being sold initially and traded away, and then to open it to the public. It's been a long effort, and Dave was really instrumental and important in that effort. We formed a nonprofit about 20 years ago to help manage that effort called Room to Roam. Dave was one of the founding board members of that organization, and he did many other tasks, made hundreds or thousands possibly of these buttons for the various events that we held. This one says Friend of Lafferty Park. Dave was motivated, I think, in his work on local issues, including Lafferty, out of a deep sense of fairness and justice. And when in the past few months we've been able to bring tours of people up to Lafferty Ranch, and so we're starting to see the first fruits of that effort coming to realization. Dave was on one of those tours in the fall, and I was able to call him out and give him some recognition and thanks to that group of people. And he seemed to appreciate that a lot. And so I want to say again, thank you, Dave, for all the work you've done for Petaluma.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah, in fact, go ahead. You can come on up and just take place in line. Hi.
Is this on? I'm
Yeah.
going to read mine because I don't know if I can get through it. Probably can't anyway. But
It's okay.
thank you, Bert and Linda, for getting us together so we could honor Dave today. And Fernando, I also want to say to you, he thought of you as family. He loved you so much. He told me that all the time. I went to high school with Dave, and so I've known him 50 years. I was gone in LA for a lot of years after high school, but then when I came back, I've been cutting his hair ever since, 36 years maybe. Dave was always generous with his heart and his time. He was always looking out for me. I knew I could ask him anytime for anything, and he would be there however he could be. He always remembered my birthday with a card or a phone call, and one year he did this treasure hunt for me in this place he knew I hiked, and it was like a 2-mile hike, up hills, down hills. He mapped the whole thing out. He knew the plans. He knew I would know where to go to find out what he had buried for me, which I thought was really sweet. And when I did get to the top of the hill, there was this rock that he had put there, and underneath the rock was this black obsidian stone that was heart-shaped that he wanted me to have. He was special in that way. He would do things that were a little different. Dave was very intelligent and well-informed and passionate about politics in Petaluma, especially Lafferty Park. I remember him talking about that a lot. Dave was humble and never asked for anything from anyone. He was a somewhat private person and an independent person who did the best he could to financially support himself, which I know wasn't easy. Dave was the first to volunteer when there was a need and always followed through, always kept his word. He was a loyal friend to those he cared about, and I was lucky to be his friend for 50 years. He would also often give me advice in a very gentle way, which I thought was really sweet. Dave cared about his friends so much and never said a bad word about anyone. Always asked me about our high school friends when we were together, which was, I saw him probably every 6 weeks. And like everyone else, I was really shocked when he left us, and he'll be really missed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Matt Collins. I was a year ahead of Dave in high school, though we shared a couple of shop classes when we were in high school there. After that, we both attended Santa Rosa JC. We hooked back up in the JC back in some shop courses together, and we both had a automotive machine shop course together. One of the projects was to go through and actually to rebuild the whole motor. So David and I paired up, and we decided to let's rebuild the motor in my pickup truck I had. So I believe at the time David had access to a motor hoist, a portable one. So he brought it over to my house. We proceeded to pull the motor out of my pickup truck. And this motor hoist has two arms on the bottom, kind of on the ground, and then it's got an arm in the center that actually grabbed the motor and lifted up. And we were doing this outside the kind of in a dirt area, and to our beknownst, the ground wasn't very solid at the time. There was actually some gopher holes at the time, but we just about got the motor pulled up out of the truck, and the whole motor hoist started falling over with the motor in the air. Well, as the motor is going to fall, you can see it's going to hit the fender of my truck. So David actually stuck his hand in there to try to grab the motor, and his hand got pinched between the motor and the fender of my truck. And that's how he's got the scar on his hand that most of you probably have all seen over the years. I thought I'd share that story if you've never heard how he actually had that scar on the back of his hand there, but David and I, like I said, we had proceeded having some more courses there at the JC, and then we kind of both parted ways for years until I think I've seen him at a couple of class reunions with my wife and such over the years. But yeah, God, he was a great person. He would do anything for you. You know, he'd give you the shirt off his back. You know, he was just kind. It's heartbreaking to hear the news. So my condolences to the family.
Thank you. And you left us hanging. Did the truck ever work again?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
once
All right.
we got-
All right.
Once you stand these up, yeah, we got her all running.
Good. Okay, anybody else? Yes, come on up. Hi.
Hi everybody, my name is Jaime. It's the first time I talk to in public for 25 years. So, David,
Here, talk right into here.
it's good friends,
Yes.
good friends, good teacher. Always talk to me, hey, how is Arlet? It's good. So, in mathematics, everything is good. So, and one day I go to Las Vegas, so I play, he's playing with me. Hey, David, you not play? No, I save my money. You need save your money in the future because you need house, you need whatever, right? And inside the bakery one day, I go to the restaurant and he's have 5 cheesecake and walk in and the slice, boom, go down. Hey, you need help? No, I'm fine. I am a stronger man right now. You see, you look nice, man. I heard you. No. It's the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaime. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Mariana. I just want to say at the family, I'm so sorry for the loss for Dave. I'm working with Dave for almost 8 years. He's really good friend. He's really good teacher. And I feel sometimes Dave is my aunt because when he's coming in the morning, hi Mariana, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning, Dave, how you doing? No sé nada. Why? He say, no sé nada is like, I don't know nothing, asking of Fernando. Well, Dave, I'm saying, how you doing? No, asking of Fernando. And you have so many deliveries for today? No sé nada. That's the answer for Dave. And sometimes he's coming and he's really happy. Sometimes he's hella mad, and the times when he's mad, David, you have so many deliveries for today. I don't know nothing. Asking Fernando. Okay. So I call Fernando, and Fernando say, yeah, you have the paper with the orders for Dave, and sometimes when he's coming and the cakes is not ready, he's feel more and more mad. And he say, you don't have everything for me? No, right now I'm working for you and for the cakes. You know how many miles I need to drive in for doing happy at the people? No, Dave, almost done. No. Now. Give me the cakes right now. I'm still working. It's only me, and I try to get everything for you. Okay, it's fine. So sometimes he's coming, it's happy, it's mad. And one time I asked him, hey, Dave, you don't have a wife? No, I don't need a woman for me. I'm so happy. I don't need a nothing. No. That's crazy for me. The woman is crazy for me. Okay, Dave. And one time I asked him, Dave, why you not got a girlfriend? He say, I don't have a time. I'm working too much. I need much money. Why? If it's only you, you need more money. No, but I'm hella busy and I don't have a time for the woman. Okay. So when I know the news that Dave is lost, I try and get the deliveries for him. And I'm sometimes delivery for Livermore, Brentwood, Vallejo, and Mountain View. So when I come in the first time and see first Livermore, the manager's, the name is Mike. I'm going and doing the delivery, and he say, it's crazy, right? Yeah, it's crazy. You know what? I feel so sad. And one time I'm asking David, hey, David, when you come in and eat with me right here in the restaurant? I don't know. I don't have a car for coming. And Mike say, okay, I understand. So on the third time I'm going and doing the deliveries, he say, oh, you know what? I remember when Dave got the car, and he say, hey, Mike, I can come and eat with you. I have my car right now. So tell me when I come in, and I come in. So Mike say, the day you want, you have a open shift for me, you can come. And he say, okay, one Sunday it's fine. So Mike, he say he feel hello happy because they have a time for going and eat with him. And then next time when I come in, he say, it's crazy. I miss Dave so much. And I'm going for Brentwood and do another delivery. And the guy say, I feel so sad because Lobo Solitario died. Lobo Solitario, it's people don't have a wife, brothers, nothing. It's only him. So I'm saying, yeah, it's crazy because I'm working with David almost 8 years, and he's my own for me. He say, I miss so much. And one time I say, hey, David, you need to come and pick up one lady on the corner and come with me, and let's go to Happy. He say, no have a time. I'm hella busy on the job. Okay. So all the time when David is coming at the bakery in the mornings, he say, good morning, Mariana. Good morning, David. You are mad today? No, not right now. Probably in a couple minutes. Oh, okay. So no worries, David. I'm going to try you don't feel mad today because you need to drive in so many miles and you need to be happy for your driver. He say, okay. So after he leave, he say, bye, happy weekend, or buen fin de semana. That's the words I remember for David. And I feel hella sad right now because he's not here. I'm working with him for almost 8 years, and it's so sad, and I want to say I'm so sorry at the family. That's my means for David, and I hopefully he feels happy right now when he is. Thank you.
I think Mariana's a good storyteller. Those are great stories. Come on up, Matt. Yeah, you're welcome.
My name is Matt McGuire, and I got to know Dave, like Larry, through the effort to open Lafferty Ranch to the public, which we're also gratified to see finally happening after 30 years. Dave was a person who held his convictions strongly, And in fact, if you got into a debate on an issue, man, he could be downright stubborn. He stuck by his guns. But he lived by his convictions too. You know, not only did he stick with us, you know, through all the years trying to get Lafferty Ranch open, in the years when I ran for city council, it takes a lot of work to run a campaign. And Dave was always there. He was always helping out, and he was always offering to do more. He would do the grunt work, and he never complained about it, and he was always happy to do it. You know, God bless the guy. What a great, generous person Dave is, you know. And we're just bummed that he's gone. And I live in the old East Side, you know, we now call it Midtown. But, and Dave lived in that neighborhood for many years. And like Jeanette, we would see him walking to and from grocery outlet. Dave, you want to ride? No, I want to walk. But it was always great to see him because you'd honk and wave. He always, you know, recognized you. You'd wave, you'd say hello. And it's just that instantaneous connection that was so sweet and so consistent. And he's not lived in the neighborhood for a while, so I've missed him, you know, just seeing him on the street. And now I'm just going to really miss him because he's really gone. But this is nice to see this memorial in appreciation.
Thanks, Matt. So I'll take just a few minutes and kind of put a bow on this for everybody. Although I was never privileged to meet David or spend time with him, having sat down with his sisters and a couple of other close friends, I learned the following things that I would like to share in the form of a legacy that Dave leaves us. Like everyone else who walks through this world, David wielded an influence. His life rubbed off on those he regularly shared it with. And it's that rubbing off on others that comprises his legacy. When I ask what were the first words that came to mind when they thought of David, here's what emerged: friendly and personable, always talking with people. And it struck me, in a crowded world, people often still feel alone. In that world, David was a breath of fresh air. He had decided that in his world, no one would walk alone. No one was to be without a friend. It was his chosen mission in life to be a friend to those around him. As you heard over and over again, he was always volunteering to help some cause or someone with something. When a friend of his moved to Henderson, Nevada, David was concerned. So he decided to call his friend every single day for months. That's a loyal and dedicated friend. Now, he might have delivered the world's most delicious cheesecake, but really, David was in the people business. There's a pretty good lesson in that for all of us. According to Fernando, David was one of the best employees Rosen's ever had. He was always responsible, always concerned about, and dedicated to doing the right thing. People like David need little supervision at work. They don't need prompting. They don't need to be constantly managed. David grasped what the responsibilities of his job were, and he followed through consistently on them. Again, David was a breath of fresh air. Everyone who knew David knew that he valued people over money. David had and held a job because it takes money to live, but David never lived for money. In a world where the dominant narrative can sometimes be get all you can and can all you get, David swam against the current. He consistently invested his life helping others, making sure they had what they needed. One of my favorite descriptions of David was this two-word description: coolest nerd. Considering what I just shared and what everybody else just shared, his connection with people was a surprise to me, because often nerds isolate and don't feel comfortable around people. This combination of marching to his own drumbeat and yet walking through life with others, that combination is rare indeed. The inner strength to know who you are and to be comfortable with it, knowing that it's different from many, and yet having the heart to reach out to others who consider you a little nerdy, that's pretty amazing. It speaks of someone who carefully chooses their values in life and consistently lives by them. Putting all of this together, there's a beautiful legacy in here for all of us, even for myself and others like me who actually never got to meet or be with David. If we choose to order our lives in these areas where David was strong and ordered his, then the world will actually be a better place for all of us. Think with me for a moment. How much better would our world be if each of us decided to be in the people business instead of the pleasing ourselves business? If we had the inner strength to march to our own drumbeat without becoming self-focused and self-absorbed. If all of us volunteered often and invested a significant portion of our lives helping others, if we all truly valued people over money, well, that is the legacy David leaves us. Like all humans, David was flawed, and he definitely had his struggles. And to be fully honest, he had areas that he didn't handle well. However, in spite of that human brokenness, which, by the way, we all share, David still managed to make his mark in this world. And he leaves to us a legacy worth adopting and following. And so today, we remember and celebrate David. And the best way we can honor him is to take these great qualities he lived by and adopt them as our own. Because as we do, his influence will continue to live on through us. Would you join me in prayer? Loving Father, we're here today to thank you for every day of life on this earth that you gave David. Thank you for placing in him some pretty amazing gifts. Thank you for blessing him with a people-oriented outlook, one that made him an active part of so many people's lives. Thank you for giving him a great array of people skills. In these moments where our grief is fresh and even painful, we ask for a divine comfort that only you can give. Walk with us, Be near to us, especially when we feel most alone, most confused, and even vulnerable. We ask you to be merciful to David in eternity. Thank you for your unconditional and unwavering love for all of us. We honor and thank you in your own beautiful name. Amen. Thank you so very, very much for coming today. I know there's food out there. I know that it's from a chicken, which means you're going to eat well. But I want you to do more than eat, okay? If you don't know David's two sisters, Linda and Bert, and I saw the sign, it's Bert. I got it, okay? Please take the time to meet them. Please take the time to share with them. They would love to get to meet you. And what you say to them will be comforting. Please take some time to visit together. And thank you again for coming with this. I'll dismiss everybody and we'll head out to the lobby where the food is. Thank you.